Hey, beautiful souls, beautiful sunshine here with the R Holistic Healer. I lied to you not. This is like the 5th time I'm trying to re-record this. Not the whole message, just the intro. I'm just like, I've been having a moment for the last few days. Anyway, I received 2 messages on the 26th and I received 2 messages on the 27th. So I'm just going to combine them both together all in one message. I don't feel like doing 2 separate videos as I normally would to keep them separate. But anyway, for those of you who are new to my channel, I just want to say welcome. And for those of you who are returning back, I want to say welcome back. Keep in mind that these energies could be happening right now at this present moment. It could have already happened. Some could have already possibly experienced this already. You know, it just depends on your location on the planet. Anyway, so what do I mean by that? Is what I'm hearing Spirit say, is because you have to realize your region on the planet, meaning like if you're on the East Coast, the West Coast, the Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere, you know, the energy is going to hit you guys at different times. So that's what I mean by that. But anyway, so keep in mind that the energies could be happening 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, month from now, and so on and so on. So just keep that in mind. But even if these messages do not resonate with you, they could be possibly happen to someone that is close to you or that is around you. Anyway, for those of you who do not know, I am a Reiki teacher. I'm a Reiki practitioner. I'm an intuitive clairvoyant Hayoka empath who receives divine prophetic messages. I also receive intuitive messages as well, and I also receive intuitive messages through music as well too. So sometimes you will see me post a video that's just basically letting you guys know that this is what the universe is kind of telling me right now, the kind of energies that people are in, or it could just be an intuitive message that is outside of a prophetic message. Anyway, so with all that being said, and for those of you who do not know, if this is your first time clicking on this video, I started something that I'm going to start doing on a weekly basis. I haven't really set in mind which day I'm going to do it. I kind of have an idea what day I'm going to do it on, but I want to kind of just go with the flow for now before I actually attach a date to it, a specific day of the week to it. But anyway, so keep that in mind as well too. Just informing people in regard, it's called Reiki Time with Sonia B. So be watchful and be mindful of that as well too. If you're just interested to learn a little bit more about the benefits of Reiki, and you know, you can watch that intro to that. I kind of went into the explain of why I'm starting to do this now, and why I'm being pushed to be doing so from the universe as well too. But anyway, I want to keep that message separate, so I don't want to be redundant with my explaining stuff. But anyway, so let me get right into the message. So the first message that I received on the 26th, some of you guys might want to be mindful, and I kind of get the feeling like this is some of you guys who are probably somewhere around about the age of 27, 28, or whatever the case may be. Keep that in mind. It was as if, okay, it came in a form as if I was standing inside my window, watching from my house, the back window of my house. I had a pool out back, and the pool was like really, really big. And apparently my brother had came over to my pool, and he wanted to use the pool apparently. So he brought a few friends over with him. In particular, it was mainly one person that kind of stood out the most. So I guess somebody that's close to you. So I saw that they was just real, I was just watching them from the window. So they was just really having a fun time, really enjoying themselves, really, I mean, just swimming like kids or whatever, just really happy. So I saw, and then they were splashing water everywhere and so on and so on. But, yeah, they was just splashing water everywhere. But the one thing that I did notice, it was like I had some mulch, like a mulch bed that was somewhere near the pool. They were splashing so much water near the pool area to the point that some of the mulch was kind of sliding into the pool a little bit, just in that one particular area. Like it was kind of drifting into the pool a little bit. And I had noticed that. But then I also noticed too in the backyard that they was also using my grill or whatever the case may be. So my grill came, and this is not the house that I'm in now. This is like a house that obviously was like really big, and I had a pool in the backyard. But Spirit wanted me to let that be known. But anyway, for whatever reasons. So I say all that to say it wasn't this house that I'm staying in now. Anyway, but they had some steaks on the grill, and these steaks were like really, really big. And I remember telling him, I was like, oh my God, I was like, those steaks are really, really big. In other words, it was kind of like, I'm not going to say that I was necessarily scolding him in a sense, but I was just telling him, I was like, yeah, I said that steak was like really big and really wide. I was like, is this really big? It just too much. So anyway, but the feeling that I had got from that, it's gonna, some of you guys may find yourself in a situation that may be, it's gonna be kind of like a, what I'm hearing Spirit say is like a bittersweet situation. I say all that to say, like, you're gonna be happy that you're, I feel it, feeling free in a sense, for whatever shape or form that's coming for you. And take this in, keep this in mind as well too, that this could be not only happening because it came in a form as my brother or whatever the case may be, but this could be happening to, you know, even a female as well too. So around about that same age group. So keep that in mind as well too. So, but anyway, so what Spirit was letting me know, again, as I said, that it's going to kind of be a bittersweet situation. Because as I said before, swimming pools represents, you know, feelings and emotions, you know, and I saw that because they were very, very happy in a dream, just splashing and having fun or whatever the case may be. There's going to be a situation, is what I'm hearing Spirit say, that may arise out of that, even though you're having fun in the midst of a situation. And I say all that to say that because I knew for me, I knew that the energy around the meat, indulgence in meat, wasn't a good thing, should I say. And like I said, there was 2 big steaks that was sitting up on the grill. But you know, just be mindful that and keep that in mind. So it's going to be a situation, as I said, it's going to be, feel like it's bittersweet. It's going to be a good thing that come out of it, but then it's also going to be almost like a negative energy that's kind of attached to it as well too. So keep that in mind. I'm not going to really get into details, but I'm going to leave it there because Spirit is telling me to leave it there. So this is where it's important to make sure you use your intuition in the process, use your gut feeling. And most of all, you know, just call upon whoever you believe in spiritually, and just ask for guidance. Anyway, so, oh, but I do want to say this. The mulch dripping down into the pool, if you think about it, mulches usually consist of like little wood chips, cow poop, and all that other stuff mixed in with it. So on top of the fact that it was meat on the grill, on top of the fact that there was mulch seeping into the pool, in a sense, that was letting me know, again, as I said before, that it was some sort of negative energy that somehow attached to it. And again, I can't tell you in what shape or form. I just know that pool usually represents, because this is a body of water, usually represents feelings and emotions. But because people were happy in the pool and they were being childlike, it's going to be, again, a situation that is going to feel like it's bittersweet. So keep that in mind as well too. Anyway, so the next dream that I received was, this one was very interesting. So please bear with me with this, because I've actually been kind of taking note of this the last few days. Divine Spirit Light has been pointing things out to me, like when I've been going on my morning walk. It's almost like he's been just pointing out specific people to me. But anyway, so this came in a form, and it was me and my sister and my mom. We was actually walking on this path, actually on in the road at first. We was walking on this road. Well, it was dark time at that too. So we was walking on the road, and then all of a sudden my sister had said, Sonia, she said, you don't be telling mommy's information to other people, do you? And I'm looking at her like I'm looking like, right, why would you ask me that? Because I'm saying to myself in the dream, like, I'm not even around other people to even be discussing her business. And furthermore, I don't roll like that, you know, for us discussing, you know, people's business. In other words, you know, discussing other people's business, because I know for me, I always tell people, if I'm telling you something, allow me to tell my own story. You know, I mean, like a family member, somebody close to me, allow me to tell my own story. I don't need you to go and tell my story to other people, because usually how, when you play that little game that you used to play in school, where you go around the room and you whisper into a person's ear, and by the time it gets down to the last person, the story is totally jacked up. So that's the reason why, definitely in 2018, I've definitely been telling people who've been close to me, in a sense, you know, that if I'm sharing something with you, I don't need you to go and pretty much, and again, I can't control anything outside of myself. So if they choose to gossip, then that's on them. You know, they just have to deal with the repercussions of that. But with all that being said, I usually try to tell people, let me tell my own story, you know, and I allow people to tell their own stories, you know, because I didn't experience their story. So anyway, with all that being said, she had basically told me, she said, you know, Sonia, do you be telling people mommy's business or her information, or telling them her information about her? I said, and I looked at her, I was like, no. I was like, I'm not even around people. And the first thing I thought to myself, well, you should be asking yourself that, because you are around people, in other words, is what I thought in the dream. So, So I didn't say that to her in particular, but it's almost like I was kind of communicating, because I notice a lot of times in the dreams when I don't say something, it's almost like, or either somebody doesn't have to say anything, but for some particular reason, I understand or know what they're saying telepathically. So anyway, so after she said that, we switched scenes. It was still the three of us. This time we was on a wide sidewalk, and it seemed like it was like at a university or some sort. And we was walking on a pathway like we was leaving away from the school in a sense. And in the universe, in the far distance, it wasn't too far of a distance, but it kind of looked like it was within my peripheral vision that I could see. It was really close because I could see the windows and stuff to it and the building itself. But I turned this way and I kind of looked and I could see it out of my peripheral vision. So it wasn't like I turned all the way around to actually see it. But when I looked at my sister, as I was having a conversation with her, I could see it out my peripheral vision. But anyway, so with all that being said, as we were walking on this path that had some tree shrubs, it was like little bushes of trees, and it was like a walkway. Imagine a university, school or whatever, and they have like bushes of trees along their walkway. And when I say that, it's almost like bushes along the whole walkway, and the bushes are so close that they're high together. It's like it seems like one single bush. Yeah, it seems like one single long bush that's along the walkway. So anyway, it was like there was, as we were walking, all of a sudden I heard my sister say, get down. So, and I'm like, you know, usually for those of you who don't know, depending on who's watching, all it takes is for one black person to say, watch out. And we all looking to see what's taking place. Excuse me. I wasn't afraid in this instance when she said, get down or duck and hide in a sense. I wasn't afraid when she said that. I'm just wondering, like, why are we ducking? Because maybe she saw something that I didn't see, you know, being reactive in a sense. You know, but I say all that to say, so all three of us ducked down, myself, my mom, and my sister. And then all of a sudden, she had basically told me, she said, I don't know why every time it seems like when we're out here trying to, cause I felt like I got the feeling like we was taking a bus somewhere. She just said, I don't know why I get the feeling like every time we come out here to go to the bus stop, is always like people showing up, is what she said. And the first thing I told her was, they're demons. I said, demons know where you're going to be at and what time you're going to be there, is what I told her. And then, so all of a sudden, as I had said that, I had noticed two people. They were coming down the opposite way. Let me see. Let's see if I can try to give you a visual real quick. So bear with me. We were here ducking down. Coming this way was three people. So right here at this corner, after I had said what I said, I noticed that there was a lady. Well, two people had walked past, but they all three were together. One lady felt the need to stop right here. And as she stopped right here, it's like I saw her. So remember, she's here, the other two people over here, and we're like, oh, that did it the opposite way. Okay, this should be on this side. It turned it backwards on the camera. This is me, my mother, my sister over here on this side. This is us right here, but over here on this side. And this should be one dot over here. I don't know why it turned it around. But anyway, oh God, I hope that it doesn't mess it up in the video. So anyway, but nevertheless, there was a lady standing here. Her two friends had already walked over on this side. So with all that being said, she stood here and she was about to, after I said what I said, she was about to look like cast a spell with her hands. And then I looked at her, but see, the funny thing about it was she saw us. The funny thing about it was she knew we were sitting there. She never once looked in our direction. Neither one of them looked in our direction, but they knew we was there, as almost like a vampire movie. If you think about it, like they can just smell you in the air in a sense. Like they knew we was there ducking down, hiding. We wasn't in the bushes. We was just outside of the bushes. Again, it was dark time. So She stood right there at that little entryway as her other two friends had already crossed over the other side of the other walkway. And she just stood there, and it was like, she was just letting me know that she was there, and we already saw her there anyway. And then all of a sudden, like I said, her hands is going up like she was about to take and cast a spell. And then her other friends who was on the other side was basically kind of like, I got the feeling like I didn't see them shaking their head, but it was like, no, don't do that here, because then they're going to see what you're doing, in a sense. So it's almost like her friends were telling her, so she was about to cast a spell, but because her friend had told her not to, they didn't say it out loud, they was communicating with each other telepathically. So they had told her not to, because we were going to see what it was that they were doing, in a sense. And then all of a sudden, that was just, she decided to walk on with the rest of her friends on past, or whatever the case may be. So that was the end of the story. But I just find it interesting enough of how that whole situation had taken place, because it started off as if my sister thought I was giving information about my mom, and all reality, I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, you have the friends, I don't have any friends, so why would you even ask me that? Are you sure you're not telling your friends stuff about mommy, is what I was kind of telling her, but I wasn't saying it out loud, I was saying it telepathically, in a sense. So nevertheless, you know, some of you guys should just be mindful of who you giving information to and who you giving information about, because what Spirit has been telling me for the last 2 days, I've been getting this energy like, not only do demons know when you're going to show up, demons know what time you're going to be there, in a sense. And sometimes these demons aren't necessarily come in a form that you necessarily think. They can come in a form of people. In other words, using people as a vessel. You know how God uses people as a vessel? There's demons that can come in through people who are vibrated at a certain frequency, is what I've been told, like the last few days. Is vibrating at a certain frequency. And if you're vibrating at a certain frequency, it's almost like you give room for these demons to kind of like come in and kind of set up shop in your body, in a sense. And so that's why it's important. And the next message that I'm going to get to is somehow tied to this one as well too, and I'm going to tell you in a few minutes. So with all that being said, you guys should just really be mindful of who you just sharing certain information with, and who you sharing certain information about, because yeah, honestly, you just got to be mindful who you're sharing information with. That's the only thing I can tell you. That's all I'm hearing right now. That's all I'm hearing Spirit say right now. So it's almost in a form to kind of protect yourself, you know, in other words. But anyway, that was the end of that message. So oh, thank you, Spirit. Oh, Spirit also wanted me to let you guys know too, like the university institution, or whatever the case may be, this building looked like it was more of a historical type building too. And what the message I have been getting for the last few days too, before this message had came, because this message came on the 26th, so all the way up until now, it's almost like I was getting the message of, if you guys somewhat affiliated with some sort of, what I'm hearing Spirit say, not only those historical type colleges or whatever the case may be, but these institutions in some sort of way, some sort of institutions, they have a lot of, thank you, Spirit, they have like a lot of demonic entities attached to it. So you guys might want to be mindful of that too. And as I said before, I told you guys that these energies have been ramping up a little bit lately. Not a little bit, a lot for a lot of people. You know, just depends on what you got going on in your own personal life, because everybody's situation is going to be different. So yes, so keep that in mind as well too. And let me get into the next message, because I truly believe that the next message is tied into this message right here. So the next message that I received on the 27th was, Okay, here's the kicker. And this is how I say it's tied into the message from the one I just gave in regards to the demonic energies and entities or whatever the case may be. So anyway, thank you, Spirit. So keep this in mind as well too. If some of you guys finding people showing up in your life and it just seems like everywhere you go, these particular people are seeming to show up in a sense, and I say show up in a sense of, okay, thank you, Spirit. So if you are someone who, let's just say, have been having some sort of let's just say having some sort of addictions or whatever the case, whether it be addictions to people, whether it be sexual addictions or whatever the case, whatever it is that your addiction is, alcohol, whatever the case may be, you may find those particular energies kind of showing up around you, mirroring back to you, kind of like how you feel about yourself on the inside is being projected. It's not being projected, it's being shown to you in your outer world. In other words, like for instance, like if you're someone who's been kind of like, this example comes to mind, so I'm gonna use it. So if you're someone has been kind of like a looker, let's just say looking and looking, and you know, and the intentions behind the looking isn't necessarily a good thing, should I say. You know, there's a difference between looking and acknowledging something that's nice or whatever, looking away and having no necessarily things attached to it, rather than looking at something like, ooh, and becoming obsessed about it, or, you know, being addicted about, oh, like, oh, yes. Oh, ooh, yeah. Anyway, as an example. So I say all that to say, you know, and what I'm hearing Spirit say is that devil showing up in a red dress. So keep that in mind as well too. So it's almost like whatever it is that you got going on in the inside of you, that's what's going to be shown up on your outside of environment, in other words. So if it's pertaining to, again, as I said, somebody who's having a lustful lustful spirit, somebody who's a liar, somebody who's a cheater, somebody who's a stealer. So you're gonna find those people being in your environment. Those people are gonna show up in your environment, and when you see it and you notice it, it's almost like they're mirroring back to you how you feel about yourself on the inside, in other words. So there's something deep down rooted on the inside of you that needs to be dealt with, and that yeah, what I'm hearing Spirit say needs to be dealt with for once and for all. So anyway, because sometimes you have to get sick and tired of being sick and tired of dealing with a certain situation. What I keep hearing playing in my mind is, it's a situation of, damn, everywhere I go, I keep seeing like this particular type of, you know, whether it be a female or whether it be a male in my environment, the same thing that I'm trying to shake is keep showing up. So anyway, but it's a matter of, you know, and what I'm hearing Spirit say also too right now, it's almost like a person who has in a, you know, person who goes to, like, let's just say, what is it called? A drug rehab, or what do you call it, like a alcohol anonymous class or whatever the case may be. And you know, the first steps that they tell you is to acknowledge that you have a problem, in a sense. You know, the first key to healing is acknowledging that you have a problem, and that's gonna help you to heal. And I think it was something else about acknowledging that there is a higher power, something like that. So all those things are taking place and allowing you to experience those things. So you know that there's things that you just cannot fight on your own, that there are things, yes, that God requires you to do, but then yes, there's things also that God tells you, let me handle that for you. Let me handle that for you, you know, after you've done your part in the situation. No, that doesn't mean that you sit back and kick your feet up and think that God is going to deliver you from everything. No, you got to put in the work too. Meaning, like, in other words, if the devil in a red dress is showing up, or if that man who got those, you know, muscles or abs of that, you know, some of you guys may be, you know, hot for, or whatever the case may be, you know, it's a matter when you seeing that show up, you, okay, Lord, what are you trying to tell me? I see it, I acknowledge it, I accept what it is that I cannot change, and, you know, and I'm releasing it. I'm giving it to you, because I realize that, you know, I can't fight this battle by myself. In other words, that's the acceptance parts of knowing that you can't fight it by yourself. But anyway, but you also acknowledging the fact that, you know, hey, I have an issue. This is something I need to work on. That's the acknowledgement part of it. So keep that in mind too. And where are we at? Okay, and this is the one that is tied to the dream that I said about in regards to the demons or whatever the case may be. So this situation came in the form is, it's like my mom and I was in an apartment together, and I told her, no, she came to me and she said, hey, she said, I'm gonna go visit my a friend of hers that she knew when she was like growing up or whatever the case may be. Well, need I remind you, this lady has passed on, so she's no longer living, but may her soul rest in peace. And I'm just talking about in the real life, her soul is resting at peace, meaning she's passed on. So when my mom showed up in a dream and said she was going to go visit her, divine spirit of light just showed it to me in that form, so that way I know, you know, what type of energy that I'm dealing with. So I say all that to say, my mom had came to me and she told me, she said, hey, I'm going to go visit, I'm not going to say her name. She said, hey, I'm going to go visit such and such, you know, at the mental institution. And I said, oh, I said, okay. I said, well, go ahead on. I said, that's your friend and not mine. Even though I knew her in a sense, I just felt like, you know, that's her friend, not my friend. So why am I going, or whatever the case may be. And then that was just pretty much the end of the story. But I say all that to say, tying it back to the energies of those what I was talking about, the demonic demons showing up wherever it is that you may be showing up at, keep that in mind too. And as I just said, that you're going to find yourself, these events are going to happen, because it's almost like God wants you to deal with this situation for once and for all. It's almost like what I'm hearing Spirit say is like the shock and awe. In other words, you're going to find yourself, oh my God, to the point of frustration, to the point that some of you going to feel like almost a sense of feeling a little cuckoo in a sense. I don't want to say cuckoo, but you know, it's just going to be it's going to almost feel like, it's almost going to feel like mentally, like, is this really happening? Like, you're going to think that, is this really happening? Like, you're going to think it's just in your head, you know, and I say all that to say that, you know, just be mindful, because, you know, even when I waited a few days before I actually put out this video, whatever the case may be, I'm thinking to myself, I was like, oh Lord, I said, Spirit, you want me to deliver this message? Like, really? But anyway, I told you, I have to deliver whatever messages that come to me. And God specifically didn't give me anything last night for as a message, because today it was meant to, you know, put these messages out and for the collective to understand what, you know, what energies are possibly coming up. So keep in mind, some of you guys may find yourself about to deal with some sort of, you know, I'm not taking myself off limits, because I don't know how the energy is going to come for, you know, any of us, but I'm just saying what energies are coming in, and it's more of a mental energy. So it's going to be very important for you guys to not only, what I'm hearing Spirit say is get up and move. Get your ass up and move. I know for me, the other day, I don't normally go out around 9 something. Was it 9 or 8 something? I normally don't go out that late in the morning and just go for a walk. But I missed my walk that morning because my feet was so tired. And my feet don't normally be tired like that, but my feet was so tired to the point I ran to the store real quick early that morning as soon as they opened to avoid the crowd in the store. But lo and behold, when I got back, I felt like I didn't feel easy because I knew I had missed part of my exercise routine. So, and I guess Spirit has me to bring this up because it's going to be very important for you guys to make sure that you stay active, stay moving, because sitting is not going to help you at all. It's time to get up and go and move. You know, so with all that being said, it's going to be very important for you guys to get outside, get in nature, go for a walk, and get up off your astronomical anatomy, okay? And I say all that to say because you sitting there is not going to help the process at all. It's just going to, what I'm hearing Spirit say is throw you more into that mental type energy or whatever that you don't want. And what I'm also hearing too, for some people, they may find themselves in a situation of even ending up in a mental institution for those people who are being overly stubborn. So it's important to make sure, for those of you who are listening, for those of you who are watching, just make sure that you get up and move. Move, move, move. And when I say move, I don't mean like occupy yourself with work, 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 but get out in nature and just get outside, period. Because like I said, these energies about to ramp up again. I mean, even more, you know, it's being done in a settled type of way, but I'm sure we all can feel the intensity to it, you know. I definitely can, and I can also feel it. And for those of you who have those spiritual connections with other individuals, when their energy gets ramped up, it's almost like you feel their energy as well too. Oh, thank you, Spirit. And I also wanted to say this too. I don't know if some of you guys have been experiencing a situation of like right in this respiratory area that you might want to get up, get out, and get moving. Go for a jog, go for a power walk or something, because I'm feeling this area right here. It's, for me, you know, and I say all that to say that because I got cancer in my chart. You know, I hate to say it, cancer feels almost everything. And when I say cancer, I'm not talking about cancer, the sickness cancer. I'm talking about the cancer, the crab, in other words. But anyway, good Lord. And I kind of hear somebody saying about cancer. Anyway, but keep that in mind too. For those of you guys, this respiratory area right here, I've been kind of like feeling that energy. I don't smoke. And nor do I avoid as much smoke as I can. So I've definitely been, that's just how I feel the energies of, you know, just other people, whether it be the other, you know, the other person that I have a spiritual connection with or whatever the case may be, and just in people around me or whatever. So I noticed somebody has been experiencing a situation to where, again, this area right here in the respiratory area has been feeling like a little, like feeling like it might be hard to get in a deep breath is what I've been feeling too. And on top of the fact of, you know, honestly, and even another situation that I've been finding myself feeling as well lately too. So it's just like, I'm feeling whatever everybody else is feeling. So it's almost like the feet, you know, because I know I did a video on feet some time ago where, you know, it was talking about taking care of your feet or whatever the case may be. So I know that a lot of people are tired. They're tired. Their feet are just tired. You know, if somebody just keeps going, the feet are tired. The feet are tired. They're just tired. They're tired. Yeah, so, you know, usually when dealing with the situation of, you know, the feet, that's usually has a situation because the feet is usually like your foundation to, you know, it's almost like the foundation to your body or whatever. So without your feet, you know, it's kind of hard to function or whatever if you think about it. But it's usually a situation where people are feeling bogged down, stuck, blocked, going the wrong direction, you know, feeling disconnected from life, and, you know, just feeling angry or irritated about a lot of different things. It's almost like what I'm hearing Spirit say, it's almost like your feet is feeling everything that you're feeling in a sense. And it's almost like what I'm hearing too is kind of getting you tired enough to be like sick and tired of your situations or whatever the case may be. Because what I'm also hearing too is that God is your intuition, whether you heard God itself or whether God gave you a vision or a dream, or just you having the intuitive knowing that you know that it is time for you to let certain things go, whether it be the people, whether it be, you know, holding on to material things, material possessions, whether it be, you know, holding on to certain mindsets and old habits, old patterns, holding on to things that maybe you learned from your parents, you know, because what I'm hearing is stubbornness. You can pass that down from one generation to another, and you have to sit back and look at how maybe your parents may have handled a certain situation and ask yourself, are you repeating that same cycle that your parents repeated? Because, you know, that right there was meant to get you out of that cycle. And some things happen because it's Spirit trying to bring to your attention that you're going about it the wrong way. So anyway, I'm going to leave that there because I'm being told to just leave it there. So with all that being said, I hope this information was helpful. I'm not drawing any cards today because me personally, just because I was just sitting here talking about the dreams was about, you know, anyway, I don't want to tap into, well, anyway, keep it like that. But yes. Anyway, God is telling me to skip the cards, so I'm just going to skip those cards today. But anyway, so I hope that information was very helpful for you guys, and I hope this information will help assist you on your journey in some way, shape, or form. And hopefully you hopefully you guys will, you know, just heed the warnings. And not only that, but I pray that God will give you all a sound and a peaceful and a stable mind. That's all I can ask for. You know, I ask for that on a daily basis, and I ask for that for whoever that may find themselves in a situation that they don't necessarily want to be in. So again, you guys stay blessed and be at peace with yourself. And hold on, let me make sure. Thank you, Spirit. Stay at peace with yourself, and remember to stay open and go with the energetic flow. If you're constricting yourself, you're causing other types of, you're bringing in other energies that you don't necessarily want to come in. And what I'm hearing Spirit say is when you're restricting yourself, you're causing that type of energy to come in regards with the mental energy. So keep in mind too, because the key is to stay open and to go with the energetic flow, and don't close yourself off. If you close yourself off in trying to control the situation and trying to maneuver through life and what I'm hearing Spirit say, maneuver through life and think that you can try to control situations like you used to, because we're no longer in that energy anymore. It's a matter of going with the flow. Whereas once upon a time, you know, we were in those energies with, you know, controlling what happens in your life. You know, I'm not saying that you can't control what happens in your life now, but it's just a matter of you were meant to go with the energetic flow. Anything that is restricting people, or if people are restricting themselves, as I said before, they're bringing in energy that they don't necessarily want, and they're going to find themselves having a harder time with trying to adjust as these energies come through here, all because it's a matter of surrendering to divine will and not your will. Even though we have free will and God will allow you to have free will, but sometimes how do you know when you're on the right track? Because God will allow chaos and confusion and stuff to come into your life. In other words, to let you know that you're heading in the wrong direction. So keep that in mind as well too. That's just a couple of signs or whatever, but those are things to be mindful of as well too. So anyway, you all stay blessed, enjoy your Saturday, and be warriors. And as I said before, I pray that you all have a sound and a peaceful and a stable mind. But anyway, much love, much light, and peace and blessings. Bye.